This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouthwatering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
You know what's smart? Enjoying a fresh gourmet meal at home that you didn't have to cook. Meet Factor, your loophole in the laws of mealtime. Chef-crafted meals delivered with a tap, ready in just 2 minutes. You know what's even smarter? Treating yourself without cheating your goals. Factor is dietitian approved, chef prepared, and you plated. Pretty smart, huh? Refresh your routine and eat smart with Factor. Learn more at factormeals.com.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to your Daily Red podcast. I'm your host for today, Guy Drinkel. Irish power's still broken, and I'm guessing Dave Davis is busy, because, well, I don't think we arranged to actually do this. So I thought I'd hop on and actually just do one quite quickly, because, well, it's a day before a game, and a game that's not the most meaningful in our season, considering we're already qualified top two in the Champions League. And, yeah, obviously playing PSV tomorrow. I mean, if it's me tomorrow, we'll have a quick look at the game and any last-minute news. But for today, let's have a look at the news, and as usual, starting with This Is Anfield. First piece I've picked out here, 12 youngsters who have joined in training, which kind of hints at we're probably going to rotate a little bit. I doubt we'll be fielding like a pure FA Cup side. I think me and Carl had this discussion on AI Scouted. I think we'll rotate a little bit. But it wouldn't surprise me if we see a couple of youngsters brought on, hopefully if we are winning. But just to go through some of the names, obviously there'll be some regular names that have been in cup squads and on the bench when we've had a couple of injuries there. But the names, Jayden Danns, James McConnell, Trey Loanee, Rio Gamoa. Rio can't actually play in the Champions League, I don't think, because he can't be on the B list or whatever it is. So he's obviously just involved for the experience. But we might be just giving our first teamers a rest in training as well as for the game itself. Amara Nalo, obviously the talented centre-back, who I think people have big hopes for. James Norris, who's been in the squad a couple of times this season, I think. Dominic Cornus, 21-year-old. Isaac Mabea, who we saw a few times under Klopp, I think, in pre-season, if I remember correctly. Kieran Morrison, Trent Doherty, who I think he's very highly thought of. They're both 18-year-olds, so good experience for them. Tommy Pilling and Wellity Lucky. That's a hell of a name. Yeah, obviously it doesn't really mean anything for the first 11 and squad that'll be picked, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a handful of those names in there. I think Trey wouldn't surprise me if he's on the bench. Jayden Danns probably will be on the bench, especially with Jota not being there. McConnell maybe, but probably between McConnell and Morton, so unless there's a transfer clause. Yeah, Narlow at an extreme push unless one of the centre-backs is unfit. We obviously got some good news that I'll come on to in a sec with one of our centre-backs, so probably not with Narlow. But yeah, I think Dans and Loanee probably ones we'll maybe see in the squad. I'd probably be expecting them to be at least on the bench and getting some experience there. But yeah, it's good. It's always good to see youngsters. I mean, we have such a history of bringing through youngsters, and we've kind of got back to it after a bit of a barren spell before Trent came through. I know we had a handful of like Suto appearances and other things like that, but yeah, before Trent and then Jones, obviously it was a bit of a barren patch. But now we see Connor Bradley, Trey coming through. Had a handful of young keepers like Kelleher come through, Yaros coming through. It seems to be that we're getting the pipeline back up to where it should be, and obviously we've all been impressed by Trey and Rio especially. But it'd be nice to see if any other new blood, and Ben Doak obviously doing really well out on loan at Borough. So yeah, it's good to see youngsters getting a chance, and hopefully some of them get some minutes tomorrow night. But the good news that I kind of hinted at there is Joe Gomez is back in training. Centre-back's kind of not the one position, because I think we have numbers in midfield, but I think most of us would agree that beyond the first four midfielders, like I like Endo and I like Tyler Morton, but Slot, I nearly called him Klopp there, force of habit. Arnie Slot obviously thinks of them as four first teamers and then the backups there. So if we get a couple injuries in midfield, it'd be a bit rough. But centre-back's probably the one position where you think we can't really afford injuries, because if we have to overplay Ibu, that could result in injury. If we had to overplay Gomez, we saw what happened. He will get injured. Kwanzaa doesn't seem to have the full trust of the manager yet, but he did have a good performance last couple times out, to be fair, and it'd be nice to see him get a game against PSV. Yeah, so I mean, Gomez being back, maybe not risking this one, but having back and ready for Bournemouth, and then the games ahead of that. After that, is it Everton or is it the League Cup? We've got midweek games every bloody midweek. But yeah, it's really good having Gomez back, because I think he has been good this season. He was really good last season playing left back and right back at times. But to have him back at centre back is the position where he was so good with Van Dijk all those years ago. So yeah, having Gomez back is such a good option, and if he's back fully fit, we can protect Ibu a bit more. But and then at the same time, when we come round to Plymouth and if we get through in the FA Cup and we get another draw or something like that, we can then play Gomez and Kwanzaa, or we can play Gomez with Van Dijk in the league if we want to keep Kanate with a first teamer with Kwanzaa, etc. So it's really good having Gomez back, because he's really, I'm not sure if underappreciated is the right word with Gomez. It's just kind of, I was going to say funny, but it's almost sad how his Liverpool career's gone, because at times he's been probably the second best centre-back in the league, which might just be Liverpool rose-tinted glasses, to be fair, but it was 18-19 or 19-20 where him and Van Dijk had that really good spell of, like, bar the Chelsea team that conceded about 0 goals in a season. They were on pace to beat that in the modern era where defending is almost secondary. It was an amazing run. Yeah, so Gomez, underappreciated is probably the wrong word, but I'll go with it. He's just not had the career I think most thought he would. He still can have a great career, but I think when we see the title winning season, title challenging season, it's just a shame his body didn't allow him to build on that, because he had that horrendous knee injury. But yeah, Gomez being back is just really good. What else have we got? A couple transfer links, obviously, probably for the summer now, because January doesn't exist, and we're going well in both in the two main tournaments. obviously I think most people would be nice to have a left back or a midfielder just for depth options, or even a centre back, considering what I just said about injuries. But we've been linked with this lad for a while. I think since the start of the month, actually. El Hadj Malik Diouf, who is a left back from Slavia Prague. But yes, left back from Slavia Prague. Been linked. I think their sporting director or technical director has name checked us in terms of being interested in him. Yeah, let's have a quick nosy through this. Slavia Prague chairman Jaroslav Tvrdik, let's go with that. Speaking to Czech outlet Kudi, yeah, I'm not reading that. Per Info Football, the club chief claimed that both Liverpool and Chelsea were among the sides interested in the 20-year-old left back. Although Slavia Prague have already dismissed 2 offers worth 15 million euros and 17 million euros from Palace this month, he admitted, would have hesitated to approach it differently had they come from a club like Liverpool. I don't even feel slightest pressure to sell anyone, Turdvik insisted. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously tough. I mean, I've never seen him play unless he played against us, or did we play Sparta Prague last year? I can't remember. I mean, if it's 20 odd mil for a young left back, it's probably not unless he is starter quality. Obviously, I'm not sure. I don't watch Czech football, but 20 million for a starting, potentially starting left back. It's a weird one because I think most people, if we are to upgrade on Robertson and Tsimikas, you'd probably want a more, 23 to 26-year-old left back coming into the prime. But if Arne Slot is kind of happy with Robertson and Tsimikas, and then we either sell one of them and get this young lad in to be the successor, yeah, it's hard to know without seeing him play, but we're clearly interested if we're getting name checked by the chairman. But and it would be kind of funny to have an El Hadj Diouf that wasn't how do I put this politely? Not to prick. So yeah, it would be kind of nice to redeem the name, I suppose. But yeah, certainly an interesting one. Might be one we see in the summer. Potentially not. Who knows? But yeah, be an interesting signing without knowing too much about the player himself, obviously. A bit of other transfer news from the Spanish press. Relevo, how the hell you say it? Journalist Mateo Moreta is saying that Stefan Bajcetic is likely going to Las Palmas. Yeah, it's been a bit of a weird month, hasn't it, with Bajcetic? Obviously, Pep Lijnders losing his job in December or November, I think it was. Obviously didn't go well at Salzburg, and that seemed to be basically the whole point of loaning him to Salzburg, because doing Pep a favour. It did. Other than that, it didn't really make sense, because Salzburg exists to create young players for the Red Bull system. Obviously, they want their own success. But why would they loan in a player to develop for another team? Just never really made sense, other than lending Pep and Lijnders a player who he obviously rates. But now that he's not there, it does kind of make sense, because I don't think he's starting every game. If he can go to Las Palmas, obviously the league will be better than the Austrian Bundesliga. He might fit it better, and he might just get more starting opportunities. I think, obviously, was it a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week and a bit ago, I think James Pearce denied any chance of recalling him and loaning him back out. But that was when it was to Real Betis, where I'm not sure where they are exactly in La Liga, but I'm guessing they're higher than 15th and probably wouldn't start. So maybe Las Palmas makes more sense. But it's an interesting one. Obviously, Spanish press, we kind of know, is a bit weird at times. Well, we've seen it with the Trent situation. It's very weird at times. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one to see. I'd probably be game for that. I'd probably want him to at least go start somewhere, because I think Bajcetic, he was playing really well in a really bad Liverpool team, so it'd be nice to see him get over this injury and then get the chance to get opportunities in a good Liverpool side. and see how good he really is. But yeah, maybe Las Palmas would be a better fit. Last up, then, a bit of a loan watch from This Is Anfield, just to have a quick look. Mamardashvili had a bit of a nightmare. He conceded 7 against Barcelona, and I think he had a bit of a howler on 1 or 2 of them. Yeah, it's not ideal, but Valencia obviously had a very tough... Oh, God, it's probably been like a decade now, hasn't it? Which is kind of sad, because when I was growing up, Valencia were always like the 3rd team in Spain. Yeah, it's kind of annoying, but we obviously bought him for the future, and I think I saw a comment from him saying why he didn't go to Liverpool straight away, and he just simply said Alisson. So I think at least he knows that he's still growing, and he wasn't ready to challenge Alisson. So yeah, he's getting good. He's getting pure first team minutes at Valencia, whether it's a bad team or not. It means he gets to do more goalkeeping, I suppose. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he does next season, if he is the second choice or if we find a better team to load him out to. As Jack Lusby mentioned, who put a tweet out there, he was going to go to Bournemouth on loan originally, which, considering Kepa's doing well there, would have been a really interesting move, to be fair. What else have we got? Ben Doak got an assist for Borough in their win in their defeat to Preston over the weekend. Sad for people around here. What else have we got? I mean, Ben Doak's up to 10 goals and assists for Borough this season. It's probably a bit over halfway, but I mean, for a player who was very frustrating in terms of his end product, I know he wasn't playing every week, but when we had those early Europa League games before he got injured, it was always that frustration. It was like, yeah, you're kind of skinning lads, but you're not really doing much. And it's the Championship. It's not exactly the Premier League, but 10 goals and assists in a really strange Borough team. I think they're still in the playoff spots, but they can't defend. Like, I put my Borough hat on for a second with my mate. If you go and watch the defending for Middlesbrough's one of the goals they conceded against Preston, it's genuinely hilarious. So that's kind of the team he's playing with. But yeah, I mean, if he can go on a bit more of a purple patch, if he gets up to 20 goals and assists, I mean, we've already seen £15 million bids come in from 2 Premier League sides. Will he be an option for Liverpool? Who the hell knows? But he's clearly a talented player. He's clearly good enough for the Championship and the top end of the Championship. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one with Ben Doak to see how it goes. Let's have a look. Any other... In Scotland, meanwhile, Calvin Ramsey made his debut for Kilmarnock after he was recalled from Wigan and swiftly sent back out on loan. So that's good. Calvin Ramsey obviously bought, and he was really highly thought of, and just injuries have just been such a nightmare, and the emergence of Conor Bradley probably didn't help, but in terms of his Liverpool minutes and etc. But yeah, if hopefully he gets a good second half of the season at Kilmarnock. He played the first 45 minutes in a 3-2 loss to Hearts before being subbed at half-time. After 30 touches, 4 recoveries and 2 successful duels, but just two duels won, good lord, from 7 contested. Yeah, just hopefully he gets up there. Quickly go through the minutes. Mamardashvili 90 minutes against Barca, Ben Doak 90 minutes against Preston, Reece Williams, Lucas Stevenson, Lewis Koumas, Calvin Ramsey played 45 minutes or more each. So good to see. Callum Scanlon came on for 17 minutes for Millwall against Luton. I saw he scored the other day, and it was a really good goal. I'm not sure if it was that game or another one. And Owen Beck got 15 minutes for Blackburn. So yeah, Loanee's going well. Wouldn't surprise me if we get a few more Loanees out before the window ends. We've obviously got this Champions League game. Yeah, we always do late loans, don't we? It's just kind of the norm. There is another big story, and I was kind of just going to avoid it because the source of it, and I'm going to do that. We've all seen the David Coote stuff, and I won't touch on it long because the source of it is that horrendous rag. But, yeah, I I don't even know why I brought it up. I'm not sure what to say on it. It's yeah, obviously he was struggling, but if your way of coming out against a struggle, obviously I don't know him straight, different internal strife and stuff like that, but to go to that rag of a newspaper and use that as the launching pad for something like that, which could have been a big moment in football, it's not great. It's not great. But that's all I'll touch on it. I won't go in it to too much detail. But yeah, that's basically it from me. Not the busiest news day. Obviously, tomorrow we'll have last minute stuff ahead of the game. In terms of podcast stuff, Under Pressure came out today because, well, I didn't get the file till today, and I was being lazy. So that came out about lunchtime, I think. I'm guessing post-conference presser will be later when Dave Davis gets home or finishes work or whatever. If not, c'est la vie. But that's it. Tomorrow, obviously, we get all the post-match stuff with YouTube. And at the minute, I think it's me and Jim again on Raw. So hopefully my internet doesn't bugger up again. But yeah, that's it. Busy on our Anfield Index. I can't speak. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Check out other stuff on the channel. Check out the YouTube channel. Join the Discord. If you're a pro subscriber, join the Discord. Get your permissions sorted by Gags, etc. And then you can listen to live podcasts and have fun. Well, thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
At your job, do you ever have to deal with a nose roller? How about a snub pulley? Well, if you're installing a new conveyor belt system, dealing with the different components can sound like you're speaking a foreign language. Luckily, you've got a team ready to help. Grainger's technical product specialists are fluent in maintenance, repair, and operations. So whenever you want to talk shop, just reach out. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.